let's start by first opening File Explorer. And you can do that by going to Start and typing in File Explorer. And this is how it looks like. So type in File Explorer and open File Explorer. Pause the video and do that when you have it open. So it should look like something like this. Now, what I need you to do is go to your documents. On the left, you'll find a folder called Documents. And open that up, and you'll have a bunch of folders. And I want you to create a new folder. So you can right-click and say New Folder. Or you can click this button here if you have it open and call this folder Learn to Code. Just all one word, Learn to Code. Or you can say LTC for short. Do that now, please. And when you do this, double click to get into this folder. Remember that if you run into trouble, you can always go back in the video and rewatch what just happened. So now you don't have to do this, just follow along. Let me create a file here. I'm going to right click and say New, and I'll choose Text Document. And it's asking me for a name, and I'm going to call it, I don't know, Game. Enter. Go ahead and do that as well. So right click, New, Text Document. Do that and come back when you have it. So you should see game.txt. If you don't see .txt, you could be seeing this. You could be seeing just game. If that's what you're seeing, go to there's these tabs here at the top. Go to go to View, and check mark File Name Extensions. So you want to see file name extensions. Okay, so do that. If you can't see this, then go ahead, pause, and come back. The .txt is telling the computer what type of file this is. And this is a text document, so that's why it's .txt. And you can edit the document, well, just by double-clicking it. When you double-click the file, because it's the TXT extension, Windows knows that, okay, it's a text file, so it's going to open the notepad by default. Or you can right-click, open with, and then choose Notepad. Okay, you can put something here, saying, "Hi, friend. This is a text document." And Control S to save. So I can close this file now, and whatever I put in there is saved. So when I open it again, it shows up. Now, what if I want to say, "Hi, friend." I want to do it like this, and I want hi friend to be bolded. Well, there's actually no way of formatting in Notepad. Actually, there is. I didn't notice that. But anyway, let's assume that there isn't. And you want to use a different program to do some formatting. You want this to be big. So what you can do is you can use a different program. For example, WordPad. So let me save this, close it. Let me open WordPad. And WordPad is a more sophisticated text editor. So I can say, "Hi, friend. This is a text document. And I want this to be bolded, maybe, and maybe larger." So I can do that. And let me save that. So I click, it's asking me, do I want to save changes to the document? I say yes. What I'm going to put it into, I'm going to put this and say game. The main name is not important. and I have this game, and it's RTF, rich text format. So if I double click on this now, it's going to open with WordPad. See? Oh, actually, it opened with Word. Doesn't matter. I can say open with, choose another program. WordPad. Here it is. And I'm going to say always use this. There we go. Let me try again. Here we go. Okay. And it is bold. Now, how is it bold? Well, you know what? Let's look into the file using Notepad. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click now, open with Notepad, and take a look at this game RTF file. Look at all this junk there, so to speak. What if I open the game.txt in Notepad, and I'll keep them side by side. So I'll have this game.txt and game.rtf. Sorry for this moving around. So take a look at this. Hi friend, this is text document. That's all there is to it. But here there are all of these characters that, well, I don't know what they are. This is what we call code. This is some special messages, special characters that tell the program that's showing this file how it's supposed to look like. So for example, hi friend, well, we made it. Let's take a look how it looks like. Okay, so let's go and put this over here. Okay, so you see the WordPad opened this document and it has hi friend bolded and it has large text. But when we open it with Notepad, it put all these weird characters. And the reason why is because Notepad doesn't understand these characters, doesn't know what to do with them. So for example, when you see here, when we see here, for example, see this /b and then /b here, this actually tells WordPad that everything in between those B's has to be bolded. It has to be bolded. That's why WordPad looks at these characters, interprets this code, and says, aha, you don't want me to display, you don't want me to show the /b, you want me to make bold everything in between. And really, only WordPad understands this code. That's why Notepad, when it opened it, it just shows every character. So what we see here is basically what we call coding. You actually created code without realizing it. When we highlighted this text and we click bold, we actually created some code, except that we can't see it. Well, let's write some code that we can see. Let's do this. Actually, before we do anything else, why don't we see if we can take all of this and put it into the game.txt file and then open the game.txt file with WordPad. Let's see if it would work. And you know what? Say, let's just add some text. This is a document that we pasted from WordPad. Okay, let me just copy everything and put it into this text file. Save this. And what if we open the text with WordPad? Guess what? This is the file, and it does show this with big letters and bolded. Why? It's because this program, WordPad, understands the code that was in the file. So it understands all this gibberish. Now what we're going to be doing is HTML. HTML is very similar, but it's meant to be code that is displayed by a browser. So let me do that. Let me close this. You don't have to do any of this. You can just follow along, by the way. Don't save. Let's go back to the game.txt and let's edit that. And I'm going to say hi friend. I'm going to remove all of this junk. This is a text document. Now we are trying HTML. And what if I do something like this? I put B and /B here, like this. This is actually HTML. I know this, but we'll see. This means that everything that's between these B's has to be bolded. So let's save it. Save. And now let's open it with, let's just say, WordPad. Okay, well, WordPad, it didn't bold and it has the B. Reason why is because WordPad doesn't understand this code. It doesn't understand this language. So why don't we try opening it with a different file? Open with, and let's just try Internet Explorer, any browser, Internet Explorer, Chrome, etc. Wow. Okay. And you know what? It doesn't seem to interpret it either. But the reason why is because this internet, this browser, because the end of the file is .text, it tries to actually display everything. It doesn't try to do anything special. So why don't we do one more thing? Let's go back here and let's rename it. Rename it, and we'll call it HTML. Do I want to change it? Yes, I do. And let's now open it with, and again, you see how now I have all these Chrome, Firefox, all these browsers appearing? The reason why is because Windows knows, aha, HTML, that's a file that browsers understand. So let's get open with Internet Explorer, and now look at this. Hi friend is actually bolded. And that's because the browser understood the syntax that we're using. So let's close that. And let's open this file with Notepad again so that we can see. Oops, wrong file. I'm not going to delete that file. I don't need this anymore. Just open this with Notepad. And put it like this. We'll put it side by side. So here is our code, that B thing. The browser knew, okay, that means to make this text bold. But notice how it didn't actually, it's put it on the same line. Now, why is that? Because in HTML, in this, a space like this doesn't do anything at all. So in order to actually, anyway, so let me see, I put all these spaces here and I'm going to refresh this here. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how many spaces I put. It doesn't actually create a new line in HTML. That's just the way HTML works. If you want a new line, you have to put a special character, special code, BR. I don't even know what it stands for, break line or something. Maybe it says line break. And if I save this and come back to the browser, see, now it put this on a new line. And again, it doesn't matter how many spaces I have here. I may have nothing. Okay, save, refresh, and it's still the same thing. If I want another line break, I put BR. Save, refresh, and now I have 2 line breaks. And again, I can even put the BR on the same line, and it's still 2 line breaks. This is just the way it works, okay? And this is basically HTML. So what I would like you to do now is to, first of all, rename your file so that it has the HTML the extension, and put some kind of a text like hi friend with a bold, then put a BR, and then this is a text, this is some kind of a text, and open it in a browser, any browser will do, and just make sure it works, and pause and come back when you're done. Okay, so the last thing we're going to do is we're going to open this file in a better editor, not in Notepad. Now you could be working in Notepad, you could enter all this code in, but there's a better way of doing it. And we've installed, or you've installed, Microsoft Visual Studio. And Microsoft Visual Studio is a special program designed for editing, well, many different languages, but one of those is HTML. And it gives you nice little, it makes it easier, basically. So what I want you to do, the last thing is, I want you to right-click on this file, go to Open With, and you should see Microsoft Visual Studio 2022 or something like that here. If you see it, just click it and open it. If you don't, you have to go to Choose Another App, open that, and then scroll through the apps. You can click More Apps and find Microsoft Visual Studio 2022. Okay, so right click. Takes a moment to load. And here it is. Make it a little bit smaller. And as you can see, this Visual Studio, see how it actually color codes this differently? This is just black text, and this is actually looks a little bit different. Well, because Visual Studio understands that this is HTML, and it understands this code. Okay, so we're going to be using this tool to be editing our HTML document. So I'll see you in the next video.